Like you said, once again, first let's stress it's a video. This is becoming part of a grisly and very disturbing pattern in the U.S. It's not just the fact that we're hearing about these fatal shootings time and again, often involving questionable behavior by police officers against often black and unarmed suspects, but that they're filmed, they're videoed. And what basically, it was a traffic stop. It was just a car had been pulled over apparently because it had a broken taillight in the back, which is routine in the U.S. But what happened next is anything but routine. What you have is the woman who did claim to be his girlfriend, basically started to film the scene. The actual video opened on a shot, and they're very graphic images. We're not going to show our viewers the very opening frames, but it opens on a scene of the man she claims to be her boyfriend. He's wearing a T-shirt. He's bloodied. His arm is bloodied. On the left side, he's bloodied. He appears to be moving a little bit. He's moaning slightly. He's clearly still alive at that point. Then the video, she pans the camera straight onto her face, and she begins to very calmly narrate. Let's listen a bit to the very opening here.
He's licensed. He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out of it.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license.
Now, there was a little bit, obviously, in those images editing because, like I said, very graphic images in between where the camera pans over to her boyfriend slumped there, very bloodied. We didn't want to show those images, but the essence there, really, this frames the entire incident right there. Some people would say that she was almost eerily calm in the narration there. She's giving her version of the story, obviously, but very clearly, you did hear her explain, according to her herself, that her boyfriend, according to her, had explained that he was licensed to carry a gun. This is very important because there's often a distinction made. We say an unarmed black man was shot as opposed to an armed black man was shot. So if you're unarmed, it's seen as, obviously a much more horrific crime because this was a defenseless black man being shot. This man did apparently have a gun, but she wanted it to be very clear in this video that she was filming that this was a gun that he was licensed to carry, and we know that arms are proliferate in America, and we have like 300 million or more guns circulating around the United States. Very important point there. And also that she tried to explain to the officer that when he was reaching for his registration and his license, not for his gun. Now, we don't really hear the officer's version until very briefly. You heard it, the officer explaining that he said, I told him to get his hands up. I told him not to reach for anything. So raising the prospect that the officer either panicked, was confused, didn't know what was happening, but the woman very clear that this man, her boyfriend, was licensed to carry a gun, and that was not what he was reaching for by any means. Next thing that happens, they take her out of the car. The police have her remove her from the car. Just before doing that, they say, you keep your hands on the wheel. You do not move your hands. She says, no worries. I will not move my hands, officer. Please do not worry. They end up taking her out of the car. And then the scene that we see next, a couple of minutes later, there's a period where the video goes black, even no sound. The sound comes back. We see her sitting in the back, this time of a police car, once again narrating what happened.
We in the back seat of the police car. The police just shot my boyfriend for no apparent reason. My phone is about to die. They shot him. He shot him 3 times.
We hear her several times throughout this video, basically in a state of absolute, a state of disarray. She's in shock, and she keeps saying on several points, oh my God, please don't tell me he's gone. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went just like that. She's clearly in this state of shock. She keeps repeating that phrase. And what's very notable here, and this happens at extremely few poignant moments, you hear her daughter's voice. There's a young girl whom we don't see in the video sitting
in the back of the car.
Sitting in the back of the car. And as the woman says at one point, when she's in the back of the car narrating into the camera, she says, my daughter is here with me. She witnessed the whole thing. And towards the end of the video, there's a sequence in which we hear what is her daughter's voice. We don't see the daughter, but we hear the daughter saying, as her mother's clearly in this state of shock and panic, saying, it's okay, Mommy, I'm right here with you. I'm right here with you. An extremely poignant scene, and then either her phone goes dead, but the video does end around 10 minutes or so. But what you do see in those sequences is not just graphic and grisly, but extremely disconcerting, especially in light of the fact that this is the latest. And we've seen many of these videos now. Unfortunately, they're becoming all too familiar.